This is called joint circles. Yeah, there's actually whole practices and therapies that are based on this. Um, Feldenkrais has quite a bit of this, and even something like Pilates or gyrotonics. I don't know if you guys know what gyrotonics is, but it's a therapeutic protocol that is was invented by an Italian physical therapist that based all your movement on circular motions rather than linear ones, which is actually incredibly intelligent because the way people lift weights often doesn't relate at all to how actually you use your body, which is not good because you really should exercise in the way that you would use your body mostly. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to start by doing these circular motions with wrist and fingers, right? Like this. You could just do the wrist by itself if you want to start. And I wouldn't go really fast. Again, it should be more of slow, mindful. You're going to say, this is what we want to do is we want to listen to our body's feedback, right? We're going to say, as we do this, you're going to say to your primal guardian, what do you think of this? Like, how's this working for you, right? You're saying, and here's the thing is as you go through the range, you might find a range, end of the range or a part of the range that it's like, wow, that feels kind of stretchy or soothing, or maybe it feels challenging, and just be aware of that. Right. So we're doing now, eventually I want you to add in, you could do fingers by themselves. I could do the thumb on its own, right? You could do a finger on its own, or you could do all of them kind of in this sort of wave pattern, right? And as you're doing this, pay attention to what your body's telling you about it. What's coming up for you? How does it feel? And, most importantly, if it's disturbing or triggering at all, then maybe you want to stop that or do it differently, right? And there's all kinds of ways you can play with this, right? So I'm doing all this different stuff. And like, if I do that, I feel a stretch in my wrist at the top of my wrist. And I like that feeling. It feels really good to me. Okay. And we're doing all these different ways. And like I said, you can just play with one joint. You could do the thumb by itself. Maybe that will inform you about something. I can even do a rhythm, like, I'm doing this sort of rhythm, right? And then let's just stop for a second and kind of feel yourself. I was doing both at once, and you're welcome to do that. I'm not saying you have to do one at a time. Whatever, resonates. But if you hadn't done both of them at once, let's do the other side. So I'm going to do my left now. I'm going to start with my wrist. I just got a crack, and I'm going to just kind of play with the rotation and see how it feels to me, and feels what rhythm, what speed, what direction I like. Now, how did that happen? That the thumb up, because I did this probably. That was hilarious. I'm like, what? And you don't be afraid to use your shoulder a little bit in this one, because, right, you can actually use more than one joint at a time. And then eventually we're going to add the fingers in. Maybe the thumb comes first, and then we're going to do fingers in different dynamics and different vectors. And again, you want to just be aware of what your body thinks of what you're doing, and if it actually is requesting that you go in a certain direction, or if you do a certain thing. Okay. And then again, you pause and just say, okay, how does that feel? I mean, is it activating? Was it relaxing? Am I agitated? Do I feel like punching someone? Do I feel more peaceful? These are good things to know. And then, so we're going to expand this now. So let's see if we can do a whole arm thing, right? It's twisting the arm in different ways, right? And bending and then rotating. Get the shoulder into it. What happens when we kind of swing the shoulder around or bring it off to the across the body or behind me. Circular motions are really what you want here, right? And maybe even shrugging up the shoulder and down as part of it. You can even do sort of a wave pattern with your arm, but with the shoulder going up and down. So it's kind of like a wave machine sort of motion. And again, be aware of what it feels like to do this. Does it feel good? Does it feel challenging? What is your body wanting to do? Let's do the other side if you haven't done it already. So we're doing whole arm, shoulder, elbow, different sorts of ways of moving, sensing. And if you have limited range, just do a tiny bit. You don't have to go big, dramatic like me if you can't. Just see what your body's willing to do. And again, on this one, you can do either a wave pattern like this, or you can just shrug up and down at both shoulders. That's another way to go. Okay? And again, play with it. How about shoulders forward, shoulders back, shoulders in a big circle? How about pulling your shoulders back by, tightening up the muscles between your shoulder blades? How about that? How about pulling them down? Woof. And then maybe take a break because sometimes it's pretty stimulated. Now we're going to do the neck. Now, again, if you have any injuries in the neck, you got to be really careful about this. But what I recommend is first just try like looking side to side and be gentle with it, right? And then eventually let's add in kind of more circular, almost like you're trying to check out your environment. And like, what's over here? What's over here? What's behind me? What's behind me and down on the floor? And again, you want to be aware of what your body's telling you in each position. Because like what I'm finding now is that my body, for some reason, really likes the feeling of looking to the left and down. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to play with so I'm going to tilt my chin up and down around that spot. And then I'm just kind of swoop down and back up to the other side and come back. So now I'm going to twist I'm going to go to the side and twist, the side and twist. You can try looking up. If you can, try just tilting your head to one side and kind of rocking a little bit. Just try to be aware of how you're responding to these joints being moved in these ways. And one of the things I encourage you to do is to move your body in ways you usually don't, and that can be very informative. Because we all tend to get in the habit of moving in very specific ways all the time without very much variation, which often reflects our internal stuckness, by the way. So if you're internally rigid about certain things, the body will exhibit that by not being as fluid in how it moves or how it wants to move. So, of course, you can do ankles as well. Right? We do that even when you're sitting. So let's just rotate either both or one ankle, and you can do a circle. You can point your toes. You can pull the ankle up. You can twist it to one side or another, or try to kind of twist it inward and outward. And, just be aware of what that evokes in your body. Like, what's coming up for you? And is there a difference between your feet and ankles and your wrists and upper body? Like, does this feel better? It might. But it may not. But typically when people do their feet, there tends to be a grounding effect because you're conscious of your feet and your legs more so. And, get your toes into it too. You can, how about the big toe? Can you, and all the other toes, can you flex them up? Can you flex them down? Can you flex them to one side or another? You could even involve the ankle in this too. What happens when I flex inward and outward? And then I go back into a circle. And how's that feel? Make sure you do both sides. All right, so you're doing feet and ankles, doing toes, trying to be curious and experimental. Okay, very good. And now this could also be done standing, which sometimes can be, I don't know, I say better, but you have more options. So can you guys see me okay? Yeah, it's like reasonably well. So again, so this is about joints, right? So how about twisting? How about twisting and bending? Again, so now there's more joints involved, right? Neck, spine, shoulder. I can twist back and forth in a rhythm. I can mix it up and kind of do all kinds of angles. I could get my hips involved and kind of go back, go forward, right? You can, you can get your hips involved by using one leg and swiveling it around. So just try to kind of be creative, right? You can extend your leg forward and twist it around, and you can put it back. There's it's almost endless in the potential here. You can even kind of do your hips back and forth like this. Almost like you're trying to an exaggerated, walk where you're sticking your hips out to each side. Here's another one. You can plant your foot and then twist your leg without letting your foot move. It's another one. Try that inward, try that outward. See how it feels. Try the other side. Plant the foot, twist the body, but the foot stays where it is. And then you could even do things like do a squat and then come up. So, your focus is on your joints, how it feels in the joint to be in that motion. And even this part, which I highly recommend, what does your body like? This is really important. What is it not like? And that will change often from day to day, moment to moment. So it's not like that's going to be a static issue, usually, although you might have preferences, right? So if you found this content helpful, please like and subscribe. You can look forward to more videos about how to overcome chronic illness and chronic pain.